Hey, what's up, everyone? I am here with the legend himself today, Marcelo. Super excited to chat with you, Marcelo. Little background for those of you who don't know him. He's originally from Brazil and as an international student went to BYU, Idaho. Ended up getting many internships through LinkedIn, Stukent, Google, and now is working LinkedIn. And so pretty much I just wanted to ask you a few questions, Marcelo, about like your experience as an international student using LinkedIn.
No, yeah, of course. First of all, thank you so much for having me, Austin. Super excited to chat with you. You are the beast. You're the
Oh no, are
man.
you kidding? I've been learning from you for years.
Yeah, super excited to be here and chat with you.
Yeah, absolutely excited. And so yeah, curious, like as an international student, how was your experience on LinkedIn? Did you know what you were doing when you started, or like how did you learn to leverage the platform?
Yeah, as an international student, things are a little harder for us because we have so many regulations that so many hoops that we have to jump through,
Hmm.
So you got to be more cautious when talking to people. You got to make sure you have the right information in order to do networking, and you got to be more strategic, I would say, about your networking because some companies just don't hire
Hmm.
international people.
Yeah.
So, I think one of the main challenges for using LinkedIn as an international student was knowing, I would say, two things, two challenges. First, knowing where you want to go, and second, knowing your limitations and other things that can stop you from getting where you want to go, because there are definitely a lot of things that they're out of your control. So there are things that as an international student being in the US, just the government doesn't allow you to do, or companies are
Hmm.
not willing to hire, or companies are not willing to invest in you. So you got to make sure you are aware of those things so you don't get frustrated once you start networking.
I love that. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for international students. It's hard for any student of that matter to like get internships, but and then once you
Yeah.
add on all of the regulations, a lot of respect and admiration. Um, and yeah, so a lot of people who are watching this, they'll probably be curious, like uh, we're not really taught how to use LinkedIn in school. You're told like, oh, you should get a LinkedIn profile, but that's kind of like the extent of what you hear. So curious, how were you able to use LinkedIn to get the internships that you did get?
That's a great question. I think there are two different strategies, and that answer is for everyone, not only for international students. I would say there is a strategy for SMB, small and medium-sized
Mm.
companies, and one strategy for big tech, such as LinkedIn, Google, and Netflix, like the thing per se, thing companies. So I would say the for the both strategies, one thing is crucial, which is networking. Talking
Mm.
to people, reaching out to people that are in the world that you want to be. So if you want to become like a digital marketer, a marketing specialist, let's say you want to become a marketing specialist, talk to marketing specialists, no matter which company you want to go. And the second thing, it's divided, that's where the strategy changes. So the first strategy that I mentioned was networking. So you can network with literally anybody, in any company in the
Hmm.
field that you want to go. But the second thing is where everything changes. In the startup setting, I would say companies are looking more for they are looking for people who are willing to add instant value. So they are looking for people who already know, who are willing to able to hit the ground running per
Yeah.
se. So they already know how, if you're going to sales, you already know how to use the CRM, you already know how to sell, you're willing to do that, and you're
Hmm.
ready for it. Or if you're a software engineer, you already know, I don't know, HTML, C++, and all those
Hmm.
programming languages, front end, back end, full stack. So that's for the startup setting. So when networking with them, you have to make sure you already know those things that they are requiring in order to do that networking, and you start that relationship
Yeah.
in order to get that job. for the big tech environment, in my opinion, it's more about like learning the skills that you need to pass the interview
Mm.
because like those big tech companies, they do have like a lot of training. In the startup, the day one, you're already like working. In the
Hmm.
big tech firms, they want you're like for next 1 or 2, 3 months, sometimes more than that, you're in training. So they're training you to
Mm.
do things in their own way. So what I would say here is like have your passion for the company that you're looking for to work and network with those people to learn what do you need to do to do a good resume that the company likes. Also, learn with them how to do how like best practices in interviews, what kind of questions they ask, and those kinds of things. Because the your main focus here is to understand how to get the job. Here is what do they
Mm.
need to add value with. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually never seen like thought of it from that perspective, but you're so right. Like my experiences in the two different realms, it's like the bigger companies have their trainings like in place, and so like it's more of the first 3 months, like you said, are the training. So I really think that that's a really valuable mindset and
Yeah, I remember
great
like in
advice.
the Yeah, I remember like when I went to like startups, I was like first week I was like working, you kind of like work on the go, you
Mm.
learn on the go. But then like for example at Google, we had like Google Sales School for like 2 months
Hmm.
before you even start working. So you were like
Wow,
sitting in the classroom, and here at LinkedIn as well, like right, we you have had that like we have training
absolutely.
for a good amount of time, which is like both ways. Like there are two different ways of doing things, and I think both are good.
Love that. And my goal with all of this, is just to make it action packed, like quick advice, which you've done an amazing job of sharing great advice for students. And so, my last question before we end is for students, whether they're international students or anyone just using LinkedIn, do you have like what would you say is one of your top advice for standing out on the platform?
I would say my top advice is to be curious. I would say.
Love that.
So I would say curiosity. Be curious, like ask people. Don't be afraid of like talking to anybody. People are way nicer than you think. So put
Mm.
yourself out there. Send messages. Hey, I'd love to learn with you about your journey at company X, whatever. So make sure you're putting yourself out there and talking to people, reaching out to them and getting to know them, asking the questions that you want. Don't need to be professional, sugarcoat anything. Like be yourself. Like if you're asking somebody from Google, like, and you think this is a nice company, like, dude, how come did you get an internship at Google? That's so hard. And how come did you get like a entry level job at LinkedIn? That's insane. Like, and those startup companies, like, ask your questions the way you are, and talk to people as a person, not as a robot or like the professional robot. So
Hmm.
I would say be yourself on that. And as far as like creating content, also like I would say one tip here, it is as a college student, don't try to be the guru to know everything because we don't know. Like I graduated, I still feel like I don't know anything.
Yes.
Right?
Same.
So I would say like instead of like creating content, document your journey.
Mm.
So classes you go, certifications you take, events you attend, go like with a purpose to those events, participate in those events with intention, and take notes on everything. And after each event, each class, each certification, don't do like everybody else and share like the boring PDF certificate with everyone.
Mm.
Share your knowledge, like be yourself. Like what did you learn in that event? Who were some people that inspired you to go to that event or that inspired you in that event? And share those things. Like be yourself. Do this once or twice a week for a year, and you're gonna see a huge difference. You, Austin, can you have seen amazing results, and I totally believe anybody can see that as well.
Wow. Love that. I need to be taking notes on all this because like I feel like I should be paying you for this advice. But
So am I.
seriously, I love that so much of being curious, asking questions, but also that mindset shift of documenting and focusing on that. I think that's incredible advice. Um, Marcelo, like I said, I've learned a lot from him on LinkedIn and his journey. I'm going to link his profile down below so you can see like exactly what he has been able to accomplish, both on LinkedIn and off the platform. But seriously, thanks so much, Marcelo, for your time. Uh, I've learned a lot, and I know that this is going to be incredibly valuable for everyone who views it. So thanks so much.
My pleasure. Yeah, thank you so much for having me over, Austin.
All right, appreciate it. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.